The theodolite. What's the theodolite do?
Measures angles, but
okay,
they can have electronics in. They do have electronics in them today. I don't guess you don't.
Yeah, you can put pattern flashing lights on your tripod as well.
I don't see the point in that, but okay.
You don't see the point in putting fancy pattern flashing lights on your tripod.
No, you can just buy a theodolite.
So yeah, looks like he used theodolite and auto level in terms of the main tools he used for that experiment. Okay, and
Did
this
he have
guy,
did he have the curvature switch on or off? Does it say that?
Yeah. You're very funny, Bev. You should start. You should go to your local comedy club, man. But anyway,
you think it's
this
a joke?
guy is saying that
Yeah, what is funny about that?
Because he thinks yeah, whatever. This guy was saying that
No. Finish your punchline there, funny man.
it was Bev's punchline.
Tell us.
Yeah,
Tell us about the button. We want to hear about it.
So you were saying.
Hello, I can answer that. It doesn't matter whether the curvature switch was on or off, because all I'm doing is sighting the horizontal in the crosshairs. In Bev, the curvature switch is not used. It doesn't affect the optics. It doesn't affect angle measurement.
Hey, George, don't tell me. Tell Parmesan. He was the one that thought it was a joke.
Bev, all the curvature switch does is make corrections for the laser light in making a distance measurement on a total station, a theodolite that has the laser ranging in it. The curvature switch only affects the distance measurement capability. I never did anything about using the theodolite for making distance measurements. It does not affect curvature switch. Again, does not affect the angle readouts whatsoever.
Right. Can I repeat as well that the auto level does not have a curvature switch? Or at least my one hasn't. At least my one hasn't got a curvature switch on it.
Affect the angle measurements. Your point is irrelevant.
I was thinking of getting one.
Hold on. We were the guy a minute ago laughed at the fact that there's a button on the side of one of these instruments. There's a curvature button on and off. So
again,
is it
not understanding it? The curvature switch does not affect the standard operation of a theodolite. It does not affect the angle measurements. It does not.
Wait. Is there a curvature switch? Is there actually a curvature switch?
Oh,
George?
You guys are so fucking stupid.
George, is there an actual curvature button or switch?
Yes, there is. There is also a button that makes the Earth flat.
For correcting the laser light in making a sensitive or very accurate distance measurement. It only is used for the distance measurement.
That's fine. What's it called?
It has no effect whatsoever in the theodolite operation.
Great. What's it called?
Curvature switch.
Okay.
What it does is what's meant by the curvature switch. It has two switches, actually, refraction and curvature. There's two settings for refraction, summer, winter. And these two functions only affect distance measurements. If you're trying to sight a distance using the internal laser to a target, it is affected by refraction. It's affected by Earth curvature when you're measuring vertical distance.
Why would it be affected by curvature? Seriously. Surely it's a straight line, isn't it?
Say, you got a curvature switch. You can't use
How can a straight line have two measurements?
Oh, fuck. What?
Go on.
Curvature switch on and off. Easy. Just switch it on and off.
The curvature switch, again. The laser.
I thought it adjusted the horizontal.
I'm trying to explain this for him. Spot on level. When you shoot a laser out, it's shooting a horizontal distance or not a horizontal, but it's shooting a straight line distance to a target. Your target could be up off horizontal, could be at horizontal, below horizontal. The theodolite using the laser measures the distance to the target, the straight line distance. Now, it wants to resolve that into a right triangle relative to your horizontal. So to find the drop distance for horizontal to that target, you have to know how much the drop distance is.
Yeah, the horizontal plane.
Due to the Earth curvature, and you also have to know how much the refractive effects are if you want to resolve that straight line distance into a horizontal distance and a vertical distance to that target into two components. Then you have to know how much of the Earth curve that measurement affects. And that's what the curvature switch is for, just to resolve
I told you, spot on.
straight line distance to a target into two components, vertical and horizontal.
It adjusts that horizontal plane. It knocks it down a bit, doesn't it, George?
Oh, fucking A. No, it doesn't affect the angle measurements at all, or the optics. You have no idea how to use this equipment, Pep. You claim to be some sort of fucking surveyor and you know nothing about theodolites.
So the curvature, it puts it in a downward direction, doesn't it? It knocks your horizontal down for the adjustment.
You need to stop trying to misconstrue.
Earth curve. If it's Earth curve, then it will be dropping away from your position, right?
Look, can I go back to the other point?
That's the way the adjustment has got to happen, on and off.
Yeah, mate. Come on, second point, yeah?
So you were saying...
But you were laughing, hold on, a minute ago, you were laughing at the fact there was a switch. So
I was laughing at Bev trying to
no, you weren't. You were
pretend that it makes a
laughing at the
difference.
switch.
I was laughing at Bev.
He was laughing at my understanding of the curvature switch. Obviously, spot on. It's all right.
Again,
Oh,
if I make angle readings, if I look at the angle readouts of a theodolite for horizontal and vertical angles, I turn the curvature switch on and off. It does not affect the readout. The readout does not change at all.
Right, but if so hold on. If you went, so say you had a mile distance and you say there's a drop. What happens if you went every 100 meters, like the actual instrument's designed to do? What would happen when you got to the end then? In the difference between that and the one measurement?
Correction. It is not designed to only go 100 meters. Wrong.
Well, I know. Talk about. Oh, okay. It's not.
Well, don't interject that in. I'm correcting you. The theodolite is not designed to only go 100
because
meters.
it measures angles. Spot on's talking about the auto level part of it because he wants accurate elevation to the horizontal plane, not just angles,
the
George.
The curvature switch does not affect that. I keep trying to tell you that.
So if you
affects the laser portion. Turn the damn laser off and the curvature switch is irrelevant.
Hold on, yeah. So if you actually just did it in 100-meter increments with an auto level, you'd be establishing a horizontal plane, right?
No.
From the last point. Who's that?
Yes, you can use it just like you use an auto level. I told you that.
No, I'm saying
the theodolite does more than an auto level. It does everything an auto level does and more accurately.
And then some. You can even put flashing pattern lights on it.
Yes. You can even put a goddamn stove on it to fry eggs if you want. Jesus.
What if you do multiple setups? Do you have to turn the curvature switch on after like the third setup, or what?
Well, fucking A! Didn't I just tell you the curvature switch does not affect the theodolite operation, only measuring distances using the laser. Get the shit out of your ears. What is the fuck wrong with you guys? The curvature switch does not affect the theodolite.
No, but you're saying that the distance with the switch on is different than the switch off as a laser measurement distance. Yeah, that's what you're saying. No, I'm not winding them up.
But it's similar to the experiment, so why are you talking about it?
It only does the length of the laser measurement. That's all George is saying.
Yeah, so he didn't use the laser, so then
the distance to the object, like you've got to adjust that for some reason.
So he didn't do that, so why do we, what are we talking about? He didn't use the laser, so stop talking about it.
Every time you use that,
bottom level.
Are you just going to keep doing it on purpose?
He
didn't use the laser.
There is absolutely no difference in the operation of the theodolite that has distance measuring capability and one that does not have distance measuring capability. They exactly do the same thing, and the curvature switch, you can just think of the total station that has a laser ranging capability as far as using it in surveying operations, establishing level lines, doing differential leveling and all that. The curvature switch is just like it's not even there. It doesn't affect those measurements whatsoever.
Okay, George, can I just get an understanding though before you carry on?
The differential leveling will come out the same.
Yeah, your multi-tool.
Whether or not you have the curvature switch on or off, because that curvature switch does not affect the operation of doing any differential leveling.
Okay, we understand that, George, completely. We're all with you.
You don't.
Yes, we are. I just want to clarify, right? The curvature switch only affects the distance measurement for the laser, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. So how does the curvature affect how far something is away from it? And why would they have that one labeled curvature switch?
It doesn't affect the distance something is away from it. I said it affects when you take that distance. Say you're sighting something at a slope that's off the horizontal. It's beneath the horizontal. You're sighting you're up high on a perch and you're sighting something down closer to the earth. So you have a slope.
George, come on. Up on a perch with your bloody multi-tool.
Stop it, Bev. Stop it. Stop it. Let me finish.
This is fantastic, George.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Now, suppose you're on a perch up above the earth, several hundred feet or whatever, and you're going to sight an object in the distance, say down near the surface of the earth. So you've got your scope pointed downward beneath the horizontal. It's sloped downward to that object. The distance that the laser tells you are from that object, it is independent of the curvature switch. Okay, it gives you that distance. Where the curvature comes in is if you now want to resolve those components into a horizontal, that is, how far out horizontally is that and how much vertical is it from the horizontal, then the curvature comes into effect. You turn the curvature switch on and it will affect the vertical and the horizontal components that distance is resolved into.
George,
the distance is not affected by the curvature switch. How it resolves that
George, you've just said it affects the vertical and the horizontal when you switch it on.
Oh, fucking A. You are so goddamn dense. It's unbelievable.
You did say that though, George.
Bev,
come on, George.
The distance to the object when you're watching, when you look at it, it's because it has to correct for it. That's what it is. Okay, is that what you wanted to hear?
No, it doesn't correct for the distance. It corrects for. Oh, jeez.
The measurement. It corrects the measurement.
Oh no, you're not.
Yeah,
you're not
that's what I meant. It corrects the
measurement. What he's on about.
To make sure it's an accurate distance.
Are you sure there is a curvature switch, George? It's not just something we've just made up, is it?
George,
how
are you saying
the laser at a distance as well? That's the other question.
I mean, haven't you spot on? You can just buy a fucking laser measurement tool at your local store. It's not magic.
Oh yeah, what sort of distance do they go to then, Clever?
Is your curvature switch
how far does your laser tape measure go from the local store?
Who calibrates your lasers like curvature?
No, let's talk to the other guy. He seems to know what he's on about.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Guys, 1 second. Let me just say welcome to Bevan and his peoples and everyone. YouTube search Try Thinking for some great content on YouTube. And this is all happening in Brandon's Flat Earth Discord server. Thank you. Please continue.
I'm sorry. I have to make a slight correction here for Parmesan. Is the Earth curvature switch. Different theodolites give you different capability on distance measurement. When you set a distance measurement, you can get components of that distance into a right triangle, and because of the curvature switch, what you will get, what you can also get off the theodolite is the equivalent arc that would be going over the surface of a curved earth. You shoot a distance, a straight line distance to the target. That's a chord, kind of like a chord. It's a straight line distance. But if you want to get the actual curve or the arc to that object over the surface of the earth, then you turn the curvature switch on and it will compute the length of that arc rather than the straight line distance.
So basically, use the straight line measurement to compute the actual arc distance.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, so how does it get the straight line?
Switch on.
Go on.
I just have a question. I just have a question. When you switch on, when you switch on the curvature switch, does it go like this? Does it make a really neat noise to let you know that it's kicking in?
Boom!
Just wondering.
Wow,
Thank you.
Smart.
Helpful. Like, don't learn some math.
So all it does is adjust the readout of the distance.
How do you get the distance? That's my question.
The laser light.
Laser light, right? Okay, so what sort of distance? What do you mean laser light? What, so
laser.
it goes
You
one
shoot
way
a laser.
and then what?
It's got an
Bounces off
internal
something?
laser. It has an infrared laser.
How does it
inside
receive
and
it?
shoots
How
to a
does it
target.
receive it? How does it receive it then? Yeah?
Yes. It shoots a laser out, and you have to have a corner reflector or a retroreflector in the distance to reflect the laser light back to the theodolite, and it receives the lit. And by timing, it can compute what the distance is by knowing the time it takes for the laser light to go out and return.
All right, thank you.
And who calibrates?
Here's a common misconception too, is you have to have very special reflectors called a corner reflector or a retroreflector in order to measure distances. You can't, for example, take a theodolite and shoot a building and shoot the side of a building and get a distance readout because you can't get enough reflected light off the surface of a building or a pole or something. You have to have a special reflector set up precisely to the distance that you want to measure.
Right, okay. Right, okay. So you know the distance to whatever you're trying to find the distance to. Is that what you're saying?
No. You say,
okay. So is that what you're trying to find, yeah? You could put someone there with one of these reflectors.
Hold on. No, spot on.
Get a measurement to that.
You're just derailing now. Yes, you are.
I'm derailing.
Yes, because you're going off on irrelevant stuff.
No. We're not talking about what you want to talk about. Is that what you're saying?
No, because you're
yes, it is.
obfuscating what the question's been answered, and you're just creating new things, irrelevant things to try and.
So, do you understand more about it now than you did a minute ago because of my questioning, or or did you just not listen?
Spot on level. If you want to measure the distance to something, spot on. If you want to measure the distance to something, you have to physically go to the location of what you want to measure and put a reflector there. You have to put a target that will reflect the laser light back. You might not know what that distance is, but you put a reflector there to get the laser light to reflect back to the theodolite so it can compute what the distance is.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So are you saying that measurement is different in the summer than it is in the winter?
It can be because of refraction. If you are
the distance from you
not the straight. No,
in the summer than the winter.
Wow, he's banging the table there, Spot On. You best watch out.
Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. George, relax, please.
The straight line distance is not affected. What's affected is the arc distance. If you want the theodolite to compute what the distance is along the arc that follows the Earth.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that?
To get an accurate distance along the surface of the Earth. That's what we deal with.
You've just done it. You did it.
No, you didn't.
Without the switch.
When you shoot a laser, it goes a straight line. It does not follow the curve of the Earth. Oh, God. I'm going to...
George, you got to relax. Don't start shaving on us.
But Jeremy, I think this you had a question a few days ago about how do we know distances, right? Was it to do with like 3 points and then the distances between them don't work?
You talking about spherical access?
Yeah, you said something like, and you were saying that it's
this
hard
is getting
to know.
derailed now. He's derailing it.
It's hard to know.
Yeah,
exactly.
let's not
You
derail it.
don't
on
need
this.
spherical access.
Spherical.
It's redundant.
Spherical access.
But this is a way to know the exact distance.
The exact distance, you measure it using first order measurement techniques, don't you? That's actually how it's done in reality, with actual physical measurements.
Oh, so that's
They
how
didn't
it
have
works.
lasers back in the 1920s now, did they? First order measurements, yeah. No, they still work off of those first order measurements.
And there was no curvature switch back then. And I'm not so sure there is now.
Is it calibrated?
Maybe
to
because
fake,
it's a curvature.
to fake the globe.
It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick.
What, you think the curvature switch is real?
What I wonder, Bev, is are you real?
Is there when
the
you
reason why
That's
they
advertise
told
it,
it,
there,
It's a real deal.
they still had to do the same sort of thing back in the day when they didn't have the laser total stations. They had to go to tables and compute and make corrections for Earth curve using their notepad and their slide rules and stuff. You don't have to do that now with the curvature switch. The internal computer, the theodolite, does that all for you.
I can
Is it calibrated?
sum up the last 30 minutes. We have been talking about the feature which George didn't even use, and
That
it
may
doesn't seem like
may or
any
may not
further-
actually be there.
It doesn't even affect it. So why the
That
fuck
may
does it
or
matter?
may not exist.
Okay, who gives a shit because he doesn't use it?
But George has just
I mean,
been talking about it
Bev,
as though it's real.
think.
Like, do you think it might
Use
be a
your
good
brain.
idea to make sure that
Bev.
it is real? Because
think
if it
think with
isn't,
your
then
mind, brain.
That's why I'm
what have you been
frustrated.
listening to
You're-
for the past,
Bev,
God knows?
Look,
he
Bell,
didn't even use it, regardless
Funk
if
is
it was there or
telling
not.
you correctly. It's irrelevant. I don't care about the distance measurement. The curvature switch should not be bothering you because I never made any distance measurements. I never used that function. All I use with the theodolite is to set up a horizontal. None
It's
of
almost
this
as
stuff
if
is
he-
relevant to my experiment. If you're interested in my test, quit obfuscating with all this irrelevant nonsense.